This conference will now be recorded.
Good morning, guys. So in our last class, we have seen the create deep entity front end part. We added the table to add the projects of the employee. And when we are sending this to the backend, we are sending not only the employee information, but also the project information to the backend. So let me just show you what exactly we have developed in our last class. So you can see this is the employee information, and along with the employee information, we also added this table to add the projects. And when I click on the save button, so basically we are sending the employee data and the project data both. So if you come to the bottom, here you can see this data, which is nothing but the employee data as well as the project data. All right. So here, this particular vertical line, this belongs to your employee data, and this one is your project data. This is your project data. So let me mark it as green color. So this is what we have seen in our last class. And when you click on the save button, we got an error saying that create deep entity is not implemented in the DPC extension class. So in today's class, we are just going to see the backend part of it. So in the backend, we are going to implement this create underscore deep underscore entity, which is a special method. This is not like your regular CRUD queue operation methods. So CRUD operations are, they are the basic building blocks for implementing your CRUD operations, but this is a special scenario, create deep entity. Okay, so let's log into the backend and implement the logic for this create underscore deep underscore entity. And what are the steps to implement this? That is what we are going to see. Create underscore deep underscore entity. The first step to implement the create deep entity is to define a deep data type. Okay, deep structure data type. So this is the very first step, uh, and the second step is to implement your write the logic inside the method create underscore deep underscore entity. So two steps involved in implementing the create deep entity. The first one is to define a deep structure. This is called our own data type, our own data type. Now, most of the people get confused in the first step. This one, what is the need of writing or creating our own data type? First of all, what is creating our own data type and what is the need of it? Non-ABAP, it is very difficult to understand what is this creating own data type, but ABAPers can able to understand. But I will try my best to make non-ABAPers also to understand what is the need of creating your own data type here. See, from the front end, we are sending employee details, and along with the employee details, we are sending project details. Okay. Till now, either whatever the record that we have sent, for example, if you take create entity, we have sent the new employee details, correct? We have sent the new employee details. For example, if you take update entity, we have sent the updated record of the employee. That means the single employee record is traveling from front end to the back end. And in the back end, we collected the data in the same data type, okay, the structure of same type, and then we inserted into the table. Let me just open the create entity method code and try to understand what exactly we have done. Now this method is employee set underscore create underscore entity. This method get executed when you send a new employee record. So new employee record means only this green color data, not this, sorry, this blue color data, not the green color one. So when you are sending only employee details, what you have done, you have read it by using IO data provider read entry data, and then you saved it into ls underscore data. So what is ls underscore data here? Ls underscore data is of type ts underscore employee. So this ts underscore employee means table structure of employees. So structure of employee table is matching with the employee data. So since the data type is matching and the data is matching, so this data can go and sit inside that data type variable. So here er underscore entity, which is of type ts underscore employee, right? So that's the reason to send the response to the front end again in the returning data type. So we simply kept this ls underscore data into er underscore data. So why these assignments are working without any problem? Because the data and the data type both are matching. Data and data type both are matching. So seamlessly, simply by using the equal to symbol, we are able to assign the data into the corresponding another variable, which is of the similar structure. In case if you do not understand what I said now, maybe I will try to explain a little more in the low level. For example, there is a variable called 10. Okay, so sorry, there is a value called 10. Now, can you tell me if I have to assign this particular 10 value to a variable? Okay, so let's say I defined where there is a variable called x. Okay, and I have to assign this 10 value to this particular variable x, and the programming language is C language or Java language. So can anybody tell me what could be the data type of this particular variable? So in what data type I can store this number 10? Anybody? In which data type I can store this particular value called 10 or 20, 30, 40? Come on guys, any C developers here? Nobody? In your college days,
Integer.
yeah, that's correct. Okay, so integer, you declare this variable as integer. Now the next question to you is, let's say there is a variable called uh, let's take the variable as I. Okay, and I'm storing 10.34 or 45, something, does not matter. Now tell me what is a data type that I can declare for this I? Come on.
Either float or decimal. Float or decimal.
Yeah, float or decimal, correct? So here, why are you changing the data type? When it is 10, you are keeping integer, and when it is 10.45, why are you changing it to float or decimal? So the reason is very simple. The data and the data type of the variable both should match. So if it is not matching, then this data cannot go and sit inside that variable. For example, if I still declare this as int, int I equal to 10.4. Can you tell me what is the value of I? If I print the value of I, so what I will get? So what is the result here?
10.
Yes, the value is 10, not 10.45. Why? Because the integer data type is designed to store only the whole numbers, not the floating numbers. So basically my point here is, whenever you are assigning some data into a variable, the data that you are storing must match with that corresponding data type. So if the data and the data type are not matching, then this data cannot go and sit inside the corresponding data type. So here, now try to understand this ABAP programming. So since you already know this thing, okay, now maybe you will understand this. So from the front end, you are sending the employee data. So employee data means this blue color line you are sending previously. Now, what is this blue color line? It's employee single record, employee ID, name, designation, skill. So this single record of the employee is called structure. Structure. It is called structure data type. Structure. Who structure? Employee table structure. Okay. So you have you have read the data that is coming from the front end by using IO data provider, read entry data, and you saved it in ls underscore data. So some data is coming from the front end and you saved it in a variable. So data is saved in a variable. So when a data is saved in a variable, so now this variable must be of a type, of a data type which can hold the data, right? So that's why I declared ls data as type structure of employee table only. I said, boss, ls underscore data is a variable which is of data type ts underscore employee. Now, what is ts underscore employee? It's a table structure of employee only. So, table structure of employee can hold one record, and you are also sending from the front end one record. So, data type and data both are matching. So, you can declare no problem. Okay, so you are saving 10. 10 is the integer. So you have declared the variable as int. So data and data type are matching. So you can declare, you can save it. Getting my point? But now the problem is, are you sending only employee data? If you are sending only employee data, this is fine. You can read it. IO data provider, read entry data, and you can save that in ls underscore data. But in addition to this, you are also sending this projects data. Now, what is the projects data? It is multiple records. This is multiple records means multiple records means a table structure, employee ID, project code, project description, all that stuff. So you are sending one employee record along with multiple project records. So that means here I have one flat structure and one internal table. So this is called flat structure. So always remember, whenever there is a single record, so that is called flat structure. Okay, one record basically. So this is one record, but this is multiple records. Now, when the data is of type, of this kind of type, which is one flat structure along with another internal table, now can I save this data? Can I save this data in this data type, ts underscore employee? No, because ts underscore employee can accept only one employee record. Okay, so I cannot store that in that variable. Okay, But MPC class also creates one more data type called TT underscore employee. So let me show you. If you go to this get entity set, the MPC class also creates, see, this is the MPC class created one more data type called TT underscore employee. TT underscore employee means multiple employee records. But is that my requirement? I'm sending only one employee record, not multiple employee records. So that means even I cannot use this variable TT underscore employee. So let me take you to the directly MPC extension class and see if any data type that we can use for our scenario. So this is MPC extension class. And if you go to the data types, so basically, what is the data type that I want? I want a data type which can store a flag structure and a internal table, one employee record, and this is project table. Okay, so nothing but, so this is PS underscore employee, and this is TT underscore projects. So basically, I want a data type which can store a structure with a TS means table structure and TT means table type, both into a single data type. Do I have such a data type here? Can you see? I have TT underscore projects, but this can store only projects. If this stores only projects, then who will store this employee data? So I cannot use this. TS underscore project means table structure of project, one record of project. I can't use this because I'm having multiple records of the project. So similarly, this is related to designation not required. Now, TS underscore employee. The TS underscore employee can hold one employee record. Yes, I can use this, but if I use TS underscore employee, then who will store this project's information? So I cannot use this data type also. TT underscore employee not required because we are not sending multiple employee records. So if you see all the data types that are generated by the MPC extension class, none of them is useful in this particular scenario. So that is why this has become a special scenario. Since the data types that are created by the MPC class are not useful at all in this particular scenario, the first step in create deep entity is create your own data type. So now what we do, we create such a own data type. In that data type, I will mention its employee structure and a internal table both into one single data type. Okay, so I'm creating my own data type, just like integer, just like float, just like any other data type. I'm creating my own data type, and my own data type can store one employee record with multiple project records. Okay, so if I have this kind of data type, then from the front end, this data can be stored in that data types variable. I will create a variable of this deep structure, deep data type, and then I will store this data into that variable. Okay, so this is what is the step number 1. Create your own data type. Now let me create such a data type here. Now how to create our own data type? So you need to come to the MPC extension class. Yes, we are at the correct place. So go to types, and here we need to give our own data type. So I'm giving the data type name as TS underscore deep underscore entity. What is the name I am giving to this data type? My data type name, since it is my own data type, I can give some name, TS underscore deep underscore entity. So this is the name that I am providing. And we need to create this in the public visibility. Otherwise, we cannot use this data type in the DPC extension class. I need this data type in the actual DPC extension class because I'm going to write my logic to save the data into the corresponding tables in the DPC extension class. Okay, so you need to create this in the visibility public. All right, and then click this direct type entry. Click yes, and now you are taken into the to define your own data type here. So now I'm going to define my own data type. So in ABAP, how do you define your own data type? By using this types statement. We use types to define your own data type. Okay, so I'm just taking this piece of type definition. Yeah. So types begin of, so this is the syntax of defining your own data type, guys. So you need to write types and then begin of your data type name. So my data type name is ts underscore deep underscore entity and end of ts underscore deep underscore entity. So this is your data type begin and this is the end of the data type. Now in between, so I need a structure with a combination of an internal table. So first I am defining my structure. So in my structure, I have employee ID, name, designation, skill, email, phone, date of joining, and then I also have the status and rating, right? So let me write status of type this character, but how many characters? Let's go and check. All right, so we have this status, right? Status is of type max length 20. So you need to give the same here, scat 20. And then we also have one more field that is rating, which is of type int1, I guess. So rating of type int1. So this is my flat structure. So till here it is flat structure. This is salary. You can count the variables 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I think we also have 10 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, right. So the flat structure is over. And what else you are sending from the front end? You are also sending your project information. So you need to give two projects, same to same navigation property. And this is of type internal table. Okay, so I'm writing type standard table of ts underscore project standard table of ts underscore project. Okay, that means the multiple records of the project table. That is, so now after writing this particular statement, type standard table of ts underscore project. So this two projects becomes a internal table. Two projects becomes a internal table. Okay, so since it's an internal table, it can hold multiple project records. So here this is a flat structure and this is a internal table. So now we are fine. We have defined our own data type ts underscore deep underscore entity. Now this data type can hold one employee record along with multiple project records. Now let's try to activate it. Will it give any error? Let's see. So object got activated without any problems. Now the second step is we need to write the logic. Let's go to the DPC extension class. Now let us see the logic. The logic is pretty simple, guys. Let's go to the methods. Now in the methods, you will not find the create underscore deep underscore entity at the bottom. You need to search for it because it is a special method. So you need to type create underscore deep underscore entity and click continue. So here it is. Now select this method and click on redefine this method. Okay, so what is the logic that we need to run? The first step is let us read this data that is coming from the front end into a variable of your own data type. So I'm going to define data ls underscore data, which is of type, So which data type I need to give now? I need to give our own data type. So my data type is present in our MPC extension class, correct? So let's copy this. So my data type is present in MPC extension class. So we created in the MPC extension class, correct? And inside this MPC extension class, ts underscore deep underscore entity. So this is our data type, ts underscore deep underscore entity. Now, since I said ls underscore type is of, ls underscore data is a variable of type ts underscore deep underscore entity. Now, this variable got the capability to store one single employee record along with the multiple project records. Okay, so now you can use IO data provider, IO underscore data underscore provider hyphen read entry data. So to read the data that is entered in the gateway layer and importing that. So there is the data automatically come and sit in this standard ES underscore data importing parameter, and you can collect it into ls underscore data. Now, this data has successfully entered into this variable ls underscore data. So this ls underscore data is of deep data type. Now, what we will do, we'll just activate this. So we'll put a debug point to see how the data is coming. Okay, because we need to separate employee data into the employee table, and we need to separate the projects data into projects table. Okay, this got, oh, still it is under the process. Okay, so now let us see from the front end. I'm going to create one dummy employee, or we can also create a new employee. Why to create a dummy employee? One, two, four, three, four. Now let's create 5. 100005. So what are the employees that I have created? Vinky, Rahul, Mahesh, Sai Krishna. So now let me create one more employee here. Let me create Sailaja. So name Sailaja and designation is developer. Skill SAP UI5. Email. So this is the email. Phone number. Salary. So let me write some 7 lakhs. And date of joining. So let me give some future date. status, permanent, and rating. So let me give some 5 stars. Yeah, and so let us add 2 projects for Sailaja. Employee ID is same and projects PR SA stands for Sailaja and 01, and this is 02, second project. Client name, let me put something like IKEA, and let me put some Vodafone. Vodafone is merged with Idea, I guess. IKEA, let's uh, give the project name as carrier management. So I'm giving some random things, guys, out of my experience. And here description also same. Vodafone. Uh, like invoice management something. This is invoice VOIC. Right. So now when I click the save button, let us keep a debug point to understand what data you are getting so that you can cleanly separate the employee record into employee table and the project record into the project table. Set external debug point at this line. All right. Now let's click on the save button. Now this debug should get triggered. Yeah, the debug has triggered, guys. Now let me continue this line F6 and let us see what data we have got from the front end. So let me go to desktop 3 and this is LS data. Now double click on this. Now you can see clearly that employee ID is filled with 100005, name, designation, skill. So all the employee data we got. And along with the employee data, there is 2 projects, so which you have sent. So you can see you are not only sending only employee data, you are also sending 2 projects. So this 2 projects, it is saying it is a table again. It is a table. I already told you it's a table, right? So this is a projects is a table, multiple records, and in this table it is saying there are 2 records, 5 columns. Double click on this. Sorry. Double click on this. Now you can see 100005 project code, client name, project name, description, everything that we have entered in the front end. So clearly, whatever the data that you have sent here, you can see the clear picture in the backend. Okay, fine. So let me just go back. So now this LS data, so what you need to understand is the data is present in LS underscore data. Now all your employee related data is straight away present under LS data. That means if I say LS data hyphen EMPID, so you will get the employee ID that you send from the front end. So employee ID, name, designation, skill, email, date of joining, salary, whatever the employee related data is there, it is straight away present under LS data. Okay. And the project data is present under 2 projects. So if I have to point out to the project data, I need to write ls data hyphen 2 projects. I have to write ls data hyphen 2 projects. So then only, so this particular project information I can get. But employee data straight away present. Okay, so ls data hyphen employee ID, ls data hyphen name, ls data hyphen designation, ls data hyphen skill. So all the employee data is directly present under ls data, and project data is present in this 2 projects. So ls data hyphen 2 projects. Now my point is, obviously, your ultimate aim is to separate employee data into employee table and project data into project table, correct? Right. So what you need to do is, so this is a structure. You collect all the employee data and send this into your employee table. That is ZB70 underscore employee table. Okay. So let's assume this is ZB70 underscore employees. So you need to send over here. And similarly, you need to collect this two projects. So let me put it little down. Yeah. So you need to collect this ls data underscore two projects, which is projects data, project information, and you need to push it into your project table. We also have the project table, correct? So the project table name is ZB70 underscore projects. So that is the logic, guys. Very simple. Okay, shuffle the employee data into employee table and shuffle the project data into projects table. So how do you do this? To shuffle this employee data into this employee table, you need a employee structure. So single record structure. You keep this data into this structure, and from the structure, you push it here. Okay, and this is anyway internal table. ls underscore two projects is anyway it's a table data type. So you can directly uh, you define. So we will define one table type here, and first we keep the data into this table type, and from the table type we shift into this actual table. Okay, all right. So let me do this. So logic wise, there is nothing much, guys. That's very simple logic only. By the way, I didn't hit the F8, so let's hit F8, and let me remove the debug point as well. So once you get the data, so let me see what exactly we are doing. Uh, I think this is duplicated. I no need of this statement. This is not required because we already written this. All right. Yeah. Now all of you observe. So this statement you already know. So that's a declaration statement, and this statement is to read the data from front end, that is coming from the front end. Now I declared a structure ls underscore emp, which is of type b70 underscore employees. So in the diagram, this is the structure. So why this structure I have declared? I first take this employee data into this structure, and from the structure, I will add it into the table. So first let us see that one. So this is ls underscore employee, which is of type your table. So which is of type ZB70 underscore employees. Now observe the line number 10. I said move corresponding ls data into ls underscore emp. When you say move corresponding ls data into ls underscore employee, ls underscore employee is also having what is ls underscore employee, which is of type your employee table, and your employee table has which fields? Employee id, name, designation, skill, all these. Does the employee table has any project related fields? No. So when you use move corresponding this ls data into ls underscore employee, only employee data will go and sit in this ls underscore employee. Okay, move corresponding ls data. So corresponding ls data means inside ls data also I have employee id, name, designation, and ls underscore employee is a structure of employee table. So this ls underscore employee in the coding is nothing but this structure. This is ls underscore employee. So I'm moving this into this structure first, and from this structure I will add it into the main table. That is what I have done. So move corresponding this one, and then you can use modify statement, modify your table from ls underscore emp. Okay, so we are using the modify statement here. You might be wondering why I used the modify statement. Normally we need to use insert statement, right, to insert the record into the table. You can also use modify statement to insert the record into the table. The modify statement in ABAP works in two ways. One is, if the record does not exist, it creates the record. If the record already exists, it updates the record. So we are going to use this create deep entity not only in the create scenario, but also for the edit scenario. So you can also edit your projects, correct? So in that case, the same function can be used without writing multiple times. Okay, that's the reason I used the modify statement in the backend. Okay, so remember, modify statement can be used for insert scenario as well as update scenario. If the record is there, it updates. If the record does not there, then it will create the record. Okay. Now, with this particular statement, employee data has successfully moved to the employee table. Now, I want the project data also to be moved. Now, my project data is present in ls data-2 projects, correct? So, move corresponding ls data-2 projects to this internal table. You can see I declared lt underscore projects, which is of type standard table of b70 underscore projects. So in the diagram, this particular variable is nothing but this one. So first we are transferring ls data-2 projects, which is the project's information, into this internal table. And from this internal table, I am going to insert into this main table. So modify our table, that is projects table, from the table lt underscore projects. Okay, so that's all. The employee data successfully moved to the employee table and projects data successfully moved to the projects table. And according to the OData protocol, whenever some insertion or updation happen, you need to send the same data again back to the front end. So how do we send the data again back to the front end as a response? So till now, in all the CRUD queue operation methods, we send the data again back to the front end by keeping the data in the returning data parameter, isn't it? We have kept it using returning data parameter. Now let us see, is there any returning data parameter here? So in your create underscore deep underscore entity method, there will not be any returning data parameter. There will not be any returning data parameter. But instead, since it is a special method, guys, for the special methods like create deep entity, and there are few special methods that will come. So for them, you will not have the returning data parameter directly, but instead you have a generic data parameter called er underscore deep underscore entity. So we use one special method called copy data to ref, and we send the data. Our data is ls underscore data, correct? So this is the data we got from the front end. So we will send the same data again back to the front end. Okay, so by keeping this ls underscore data into er underscore deep underscore entity, but you cannot do direct assignment. That is, you cannot do er underscore deep underscore entity equals to ls data. So this you cannot do. I mean to say, so you cannot write er underscore deep underscore entity equal to ls underscore data. So this you cannot do. Why we cannot do this? Because this ls underscore data, this er underscore deep underscore entity, it is not, you can see, if you see the data type of this one, this is some generic data type. Type refers to data. It's a generic data type. Okay, it is not our deep structure. So that is the reason we need to use a special method here see, our ultimate aim is to send this ls data, the data that we got from the front end, okay, into this variable er underscore deep underscore entity, but we don't do this direct assignment like this. So instead we use this copy data to ref, which is a standard function, copy data to ref. And so here in this entire statement, so everything is everything is fixed actually. So this importing data es underscore data and cr underscore data all are fixed actually. Fixed means they are predefined. The only thing you need to do is you need to pass your data, that is ls underscore data. Okay, actually this is a single statement, but I break it into 4 lines. It is only one line statement. Copy data to ref, and then you pass your ls data. So ls data means the data that you got from the front end. So this data is passed as a input to this is underscore data, and ultimately it will convert that into your er underscore deep underscore entity. So ultimately it is sending that to er underscore deep underscore entity only. Okay, but by using that copy data to ref statement. Now let's activate this. So for all special methods, guys, we are going to use this copy data to ref statement from now onwards. So every day we will get some special method from the next class. Now this is active. So now let me click on the save button. So let us see if Silager record gets created along with the projects or not. So I clicked on save, and you can see employee created successfully. Let's go back and let's just refresh our screen because just now it got created. Now let us see Silager is there. Yes, we have Silager's record, and click on this record, and you can also see Silager's data along with the project information that we have entered. So the stream size, let me just remove it from the display fragment. So we removed that field actually. Why this bash is reloading? So let me open this display fragment, and so let me remove this column, team size, and this one also. Yeah. So this is the backend part of create underscore deep underscore entity. So with this, we have successfully, yeah, this is the project information, by the way. So with this, we have successfully uh, completed this create underscore deep underscore entity concept. Okay, so very, very important concept, guys. So in real time, definitely you will find this create underscore deep underscore entity. So no doubt about it. Okay, so any questions in this? So in tomorrow's class, we are going to the next topic, and that is uh, in the edit page. So this is the edit page. So let's say this is Silager's information. When I click on edit, you can see the edit screen is having only editing of the employees, but I also want to edit my projects. Let's say my project name is wrong, or my project code is wrong. I want to update my project code. So what we are going to do is we are going to work on employee edit fragment. This is the edit fragment. So in the edit fragment, we have given only the simple form with a label and input fields, but we are also going to add the table. And when you click on the save, so again, we are going to call create deep entity only. This is the reason why I used the modify statement in the backend, so that it helps us in creating scenarios as well as in updating scenarios. Okay, so when I click on this uh, edit button, so you can see the edit button is only giving option to edit the employee details, but I want to edit my project data. How can you edit the project data? So we need to add that also, the table also we need to add it here. Once again, don't exit, guys. I think this is This is pretty easy. We can do now itself, actually. Okay, fine. We'll do it tomorrow. It's don't want to confuse you. Okay, fine, guys. That's all for today. We'll see this scenario in tomorrow's class. Fine. Have a nice day. Bye bye.